Ali Madat, welcome, bienvenue, Hosh Amedi. A very warm welcome to our latest Friday Night Reflections. My name is Malika Kareem Rajan, and I'm honored to host the program today. It's a pleasure to be with you and to be part of this virtual gathering, which I know many of us look forward to each and every week. Nous attendons cet événement chaque vendredi soir avec impatience afin de nous connecter les uns aux autres et célébrer notre journée canadienne. I'm coming to you from Winnipeg, Manitoba, the center of Canada, so quite fitting to bring us all together. Here, signs of spring are already in the air. The snow has started to melt, the days are visibly longer, and the temperature is actually warming up for all of you who want to make Winterpeg jokes right now. I hope you're all keeping safe and staying positive, and have your chai ready. I have my BUI mug, and I'm ready to go. These are unprecedented times, and although you may not be able to hang out with your friends and family members in person, I urge you to connect in other ways. Personally, we've been filling our time here in Winnipeg with video calls, cooking sessions, virtual games with friends and family across the country, and even attempting to complete a 1,000-piece puzzle. We're trying to stay positive, and initiatives like what we're doing tonight can help. And now, here's a look at our program. President Amir Ali Kassim Laka of the Council for Canada will start off our evening, coming to us from Toronto. Then we will view a brief clip of Maulana Hazar Imam speaking at the institutional dinner during his November 2008 visit to Canada. After that, we'll move across the country to Vancouver to hear from Alwai's Aman Haji. And finally, we will round off the broadcast with a wonderful video to inspire and rejuvenate us. So please, grab your cup of chai, maybe some juice or a glass of milk. Make sure your nasto is ready. Sit back, relax, and please help welcome President Kassim Laka.
Dear members of Jamaat, 2 weeks ago, we reviewed Maulana Hazar Imam's guidance to the Jamaat to focus on repositioning ourselves for a stronger future. I raised the notion of pivoting our career trajectories and scaling up in a direction which is more strategic for the future. Many members of Jamaat wrote to us. They asked for practical suggestions to reposition into areas of growth. This is what I will discuss today. Let me start by saying that a global event of the magnitude of this pandemic can force a departure from our usual habits and transition us to a world of new behaviors and opportunity. In the last 6 weeks, we have learned how to conduct our affairs digitally, minimizing our reliance on human interaction. The prevailing wisdom is that several trends will take hold. The world's digital infrastructure will expand to support remote working and a transformation in daily activities such as customer service, government services, online purchasing, online education, telemedicine, and digital sports. In response to the virus and to protect populations, there will be significant new investment in healthcare systems, healthcare products, new supply chains for medical equipment and drugs, and contactless or touchless interface at the retail level. A transition to voice and facial recognition to prevent spread of viruses. In production infrastructure, we are likely to see greater automation and reliance on artificial intelligence and robotics to improve production quality and save energy and costs. As a Jamaat, we need to think about whether we are well positioned so that we don't miss out on opportunities as the world ushers in a new way of life. Who will be the winners? The winners will be those who think ahead. The students and professionals who position or reposition themselves well, and the entrepreneurs and innovators who are part of the new paradigm of disruption. Those who can build within the markets and supply chains of tomorrow. How can our Jamaat poise themselves to be winners? Let us review this question by segment. First, I will address high school students. I have 3 suggestions. Be ambitious. Set your sights as high as possible. Do not settle, because you will unnecessarily limit your potential. Look to the best academic institutions within your areas of interest. This should be your starting point. And if you don't know how to get there or feel these are out of reach, seek support from friends, family, or the Jamaat institutions who can help you get there. Second, work hard. Today, in high school, you are setting the foundation for every day to come in your future. It may not seem that way, but the investment you make today determines your university a few years from now, and your first job a few years later, and so on. Ambitious goals without the work to achieve them are just dreams, and we must recognize them as just being dreams. Decades ago, Hazrat Imam provided this very guidance to students when he said, "Look 10 years, 20 years ahead at what your country needs. Select those subjects which interest you, which will be necessary in the future of your country. And then work hard, very hard, very, very, very hard, very hard, very hard indeed. A student can do just enough to get past, but don't accept mediocrity. You cannot put the clock back." Third, I would say, in the context of digitalization, make sure you do not prematurely give up courses in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM occupations are playing a key role in the sustained growth and stability of economies. And as high school students, you must keep this in mind. STEM jobs are amongst those enjoying higher employment rates and steadier advancement opportunities. So I say to our high school students, reconsider before giving up math or sciences. These courses can be difficult, I understand this. But this is reason to work harder, seek more support, not to give up and limit your potential. My remarks are about the new areas which will emerge, that are going to emerge, but there will also be continuing opportunities for excellence in other areas: law, arts, social sciences, and business. Let me now address our university and college students. I know that many of you are concerned about the possibility of losing internships or employment opportunities. As was true in prior recessions, feel assured employers will take today's exceptional circumstances into account, and opportunities will emerge with time. Your fortunes will turn, inshallah. In the interim, focus your attention on longer-term issues. We are living in a meritocratic world that is more competitive than ever before, and you'll be challenged constantly to perform at higher levels of excellence. Therefore, you should ask yourselves the following questions. Have you established the right goals? Are these ambitious goals, and are you working hard enough to achieve them? Because chances are someone else in this world has the exact same goals and will be competing with you. Are you on the right trajectory? One that is aligned with future areas of growth? It could be in software, biotechnology, nanotechnology, or other career of choice. Is it one that optimizes your abilities and promises a bright future with strong earnings capacity? If you are unsure of the growth prospects of the trajectory you are on, then be proactive. This is your future. You cannot afford to be unclear or complacent in this matter. Pick up the phone, write an email, reach out to people to seek their guidance. But allocate the necessary time and effort to ensure that you can look to the future with clarity and assurance of outcome. That you are not on a trajectory that is going to be experiencing steep decline. And finally, I say to university students, do you have a long-term plan? What will your career look like tomorrow, a year from now, 5 years from now, or 20 years? We should think of our future not only in terms of today and tomorrow, but also in the context of the decades ahead. Our Jamaat has always based its future on thinking ahead, under the guidance of the Imam of the time, to come out ahead. Let me now address the professionals in our Jamaat and others in employment. There is no single strategy or solution for each of us to be better positioned. But we can start by thinking about our present career. What is the state of our work today? And what is the future of the work and industry that we are operating in? Are you in the right industry, the right company, in the right role? These are important questions. If not, then think about how you can be better positioned so that you are aligned with areas of higher future potential. Proactively search for new opportunities because you won't know what is available unless you look. Think of value-added jobs that you can pursue to improve your earnings capacity. Not jobs that just pay minimum wage, but value-added jobs. I stress the importance of value-added jobs because these provide greater stability, runway for growth, and savings capacity for the family. If you identify a high potential opportunity that is unattainable because of your current skill set, then recognize that you are never too old to pursue education. If you determine that you need to pivot career paths, now is a time to seek vocational training, certification, or continued education to help pivot. Remember the word pivot. Those who are in labor positions, please contact our skills and employment counselors to discuss courses you can take and language programs to improve your employment prospects. This education may require short-term sacrifices today, but that are necessary to improve earnings potential for tomorrow. And finally, I want to address those who are in business. I would ask, does your business have a strong future ahead? Ask yourself, are you in the right industry? And are you well positioned within the industry? Will your business grow? And if so, how will it grow? And will it grow enough to sustain you and your children and their children? This requires having a vision and a detailed plan. It is not sufficient to just manage one's business day to day and not take into account environmental factors that can take over in a negative way. Sit down and chart out a path for the next wave of growth. Think about how you can build, diversify, form partnerships, and manage long-term risks associated with the industry you're operating in. This will ensure that you are protected in your business and can look to the future with confidence. So in summary, I say to the Jamaat, we need to anticipate and position ourselves to embrace change rather than be surprised by it. A growth mindset will be important for future success, as will agility and adaptability. So try to learn about long-term trends. Think about potential pathways for yourself. Study other people's transformational journeys and invest in learning that is right for you. This is the way to future-proof ourselves, our careers, and our businesses. In these few minutes, I hope I have succeeded in answering your question on how to reposition for a brighter future. Remember, we are in this together. And with Hazrat Imam by our side and holding our hand, we will continue to move forward with his blessings. Thank you and Khuda Hafiz.
to say that as I look to the future, I have a deep sense of confidence that the Jamaat around the world is finding its position in the various countries, that our institutions are beginning to have an impact on the quality of life and the quality of thought and the quality of governance in the various countries where we are living. And I say to myself, that is due to what? It's due to your wisdom, your knowledge, your willing to help each other, and to have the courage to think past crises, because that ultimately is the nature of what we all have to do, is to think past crises, and to think as one family, which is what we are. We are one family. Whether the Jamaat comes from Tajikistan or Afghanistan or Syria or East Africa, it is one Jamaat.
What a wonderful remembrance. Those words of advice are so true for us even today as we navigate through and think past this current crisis. And thank you, President Saib, for those words. It gives us a sense of comfort to hear from you and to remind ourselves how we can use this unusual time to build for ourselves and to help keep the Jamaat strong. On a personal note, I do miss seeing all of our badged and non-badged volunteers in Kane, the smiling faces, the helpful presence, and seeing our younger Jamaati members helping out with pot wiping and distributing nandi. Well, maybe that's something you can continue at home, little ones. Help mom and dad with some chores. You're welcome, parents. It's heartwarming to see the volunteer response from our community, and we can feel very proud of our volunteers, especially as we head into National Volunteers Week. Let us now welcome Alwais Aman Haji, coming to us from Vancouver. Aman is a family and addiction medicine physician, an Alwais, and has been serving the Jamaat since 2003 in Canada and globally. Please welcome Aman to share with us his reflections on faith and knowledge, building on President Kasim Laka's remarks.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My dear brothers and sisters, Ya Ali Madad. There was once a man who lived in a village. And this man used to use his boat to take people from one side of the river to the other. Now one day there was a scholar who was visiting the village. And that scholar wanted to get to the other side of the river. So he asked the man with the boat if he could get a ride. Now the man, of course, obliged. And they started their journey. Now along their journey, they started to have a conversation. And the scholar asked the man, "Excuse me, do you have any knowledge about the history and creation of the universe?" And the man said no, as he hadn't formally studied. And the scholar replied and said, "Well, then you have wasted half your life." The boatman stayed silent, and they continued their journey. After some time, the scholar asked another question and said, "Excuse me, do you have any knowledge about the history of human civilizations?" And again, the boatman said no. And the scholar replied, "Well, then you have wasted 3/4 of your life." The boatman stayed silent, and they continued their journey. Now, after some time, the weather started to change. There were strong gusts of wind that were blowing. It started to rain very heavily. There was thunder and lightning, and the boat was shifting side to side as the waters were becoming more rough. And the scholar was trembling in fear. Now the boatman was calm. He had seen this type of weather before. But he could see that his passenger was in distress. And so he turned to the scholar and said, "Excuse me, sir, do you not know how to swim?" And the scholar said, "No, I never learned." And the boatman said, "Well, I may have wasted 3/4 of my life. But you, sir, have wasted your entire life because the boat is sinking." My brothers and sisters, what are the types of knowledge that we need today to help us to swim as we navigate the currents of our present time? In today's reflection, let us briefly explore the importance of knowledge in the path of faith. There is a beautiful prayer in the Quran Sharif that is given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which says, Rabbi zidni ilman, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. In Islam, the acquisition of knowledge is seen as a precept of our faith. Our beloved Prophet and Imams have guided us to uphold this fundamental principle throughout our history. That is, to seek knowledge to better understand the creation of Allah and to serve our fellow beings. Alhamdulillah, many of us in the Jamaat have been able to excel in our studies, in our fields of endeavor. Many of us thought that we had stable career paths, but for many of us, some of this has been put into question due to the recent pandemic. For my brothers and sisters in schools and colleges and universities, they have seen their learning environment shift almost entirely online. And they too have had many questions about their futures. And so many of us are left with time to reflect, so that we can ask, how do we use this time to build for the future? As Maulana Hazrat Imam has guided in the recent Talika, how do we use this time to remain strong and prepare to build and build well when this crisis passes? We are a Jamaat who knows how to build, who knows how to persevere, who knows not just how to survive, but rather to thrive, who in times of despair never lose hope, for we know that the blessings of the Imam are with us. Throughout our 1400-year history, our Jamaats have seen many, many hardships. Indeed, many of the families of our Jamaat, prior to coming to Canada, endured significant hardships. Our Jamaats have been through a lot over 1400 years. But through the blessings of the Imam, through being united, we have been able to move forward and progress. We can recollect the Alamut period of our history, when the Jamaats in Persia and Syria struggled in mountain fortresses in very hostile environments. And despite these hardships, the Jamaats continued their intellectual quests, as many of the fortresses had libraries through which the Jamaat and others could learn to prepare for their futures. Today, in the time that we have, we can reflect on how to build and reposition for the eventual passing of this crisis. For we know that the world that we will go back to is going to be different than the one that we have previously been accustomed to. During the foundation ceremony of the Aga Khan University's Graduate School of Media and Communications in Nairobi, Maulana Hazrat Imam said in 2011, "The most important thing we can learn or teach at any school in a world of perpetual change is the ability to go on learning. None of us have all the answers. Quite often, we don't even know what questions to ask. Nor can we discern the road ahead by looking in a rearview mirror. Past lessons must constantly be renewed and reapplied as we adapt to new technologies and new expectations." My brothers and sisters, these messages are particularly important for our times today. We don't know what road lays ahead, but we do know that we will have to enhance our knowledge and skill sets in various fields of endeavor to excel. And President Sahib, in his address, has articulated many of these areas to which we should be drawing our attention and upon which we should be reflecting. In addition to these, I would suggest that we seek to build on our diversity. Alhamdulillah, as a global Jamaat, we have many talents, many resources, much knowledge, and much experience. During this time, let us seek to try to come together even more strongly than we have in the past. How can we share knowledge across borders, across frontiers, across oceans, just as our artists in the Jamaat have shown us? how can we harness the capabilities, the tools, the resources in the Jamaat so that we as a global Jamaat can progress together. We have been guided by the Imam to be active participants and to seek to be leaders of the knowledge society, just as many of our ancestors were in the past. And as we seek to do so, let us reflect upon more deeply the work of the Imam. For as we reflect upon the global network, the Aga Khan Development Network, that Maulana Hazrat Imam has consolidated during his imamat, we can learn from the work of the institutions. We can seek to go to the AKDN website to learn about the work of those institutions, the principles and values that underlie the work, and learn from that knowledge. We can also seek, as families, to read at least one speech of the Imam per week and reflect upon that speech together. As we do this, we will seek to enhance our knowledge, but also have strength in the direction that we seek to follow as we move ahead in our futures. The second point I wanted to mention is that of mentorship. There are many in the Jamaat who have a lot of knowledge and experience. And for other members in the Jamaat who are in similar fields or are studying in those fields, let those who with more experience share that experience with the others. For it is through that knowledge and experience that our Jamaat will be able to move forward. Mentorship is a very important principle, and it is one that can help our Jamaat with the older generations and the younger generations to bridge that knowledge and to help us all to move forward together. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, Allah, His angels, and all of those in the heavens and the earth, even the ants in the hills and the fish in the water, call down blessings on those who instruct others in beneficial knowledge. Such is the blessing of learning and teaching others, my brothers and sisters. But as we seek to learn, as we seek to gain knowledge about the dunya for our advancement in a material sense, let us also seek to enhance our knowledge about our deen. With the time we have, there is much we can learn in the secondary curriculum with the magnificent books that have been published by the Institute of Ismaili Studies and the numerous other books that have been published about our faith. We can seek to practice our faith regularly and uphold the tradition of our forefathers, which ultimately will bring peace to our souls. So as we seek to advance in the dunya, let us also seek to advance in our spiritual quests. My brothers and sisters, I recall the story with which I started this reflection. It taught us the importance of swimming. There is a tradition in our Jamaat where when the Imam of the time blesses the Jamaat with a mulaqat, the Jamaats present a gift to the Imam. And often, through those gifts, the Imam will convey more meaning and hope into our lives. In 1978, Maulana Hazrat Imam blessed the Jamaat with their first mulaqat here in Canada. The Jamaat had only been here for a few years after having endured significant hardship in Africa. They were just settling. And in Vancouver, in November 14, 1978, Maulana Hazrat Imam blessed the Jamaat with a mulaqat. And as is tradition, the Jamaat presented to the Imam a gift. And the gift was a jade carving of a salmon, a fish, and it was mounted on a rock. And this was presented to the Imam. And the Imam graciously accepted this gift and reflected upon the recent hardships of the Jamaat. And then the Imam asked us to consider the direction that the fish's head was pointing. It was pointing upwards. it was pointing upwards, so as to symbolize, inshallah, our upward future. My brothers and sisters, may the blessings of the Imam of the time be with us as we seek knowledge, as we share knowledge, as we swim together, and as we build for our futures. Rabbi zidni ilman. My Lord, increase me in knowledge.
Thank you, Aman. What a privilege to have you share your thoughts with all of us. Dear friends, I hope you have been able to take advantage of some of the wonderful programs that our volunteers have put together for us. In the days and weeks ahead, we can also look forward to reflections readings to keep us in touch with our faith, yoga and Zumba classes, a number of initiatives designed to celebrate National Volunteers Week. Be sure not to miss our feature film, A Century of Service, celebrating 100 years of IVC. And in addition, tomorrow is also, of course, the exciting launch of digital BUI online programming for all of our students. Also this week, make sure to check out the Ismaili, our global website for Ismaili TV, which offers 24/7 programming for the Jamaat from around the world, with topics ranging from healthy habits, kids club, cultural expressions, in the kitchen, nourishment of the mind, and specials from our historical archive. It's not to be missed. And please remember that the Jamaati registration process is underway. We would like each and every member of the Jamaat to register so that we can know best how to help every family. Please make sure you register on the link provided in the Al Akbar. And very important, please remember that for any questions or concerns, you can reach out to the Access line at 1-888-536-3599. Volunteers are available 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. in your region. You can call the Access line for any issues or inquiries you may have, or if you are looking for support or a resource, we're here to help, so please reach out. During these difficult times, we'd like to say thank you to all our frontline workers. Stay safe, and for those of us who can stay home, please do. And now, a nod to all of our volunteers. This coming week is National Volunteers Week, and we want to celebrate the volunteers that are doing such amazing work. Although we are not physically meeting, so many people are working behind the scenes, connecting with seniors and going above and beyond to help connect us. You can head to our Facebook and Instagram pages and the Al Akbar so you can get involved in the Way I Serve campaign, the United We Sew campaign, and much more. We want to hear from you, so you please send us your pictures and stories, and let's hear from all of our volunteers. You make us so proud. And now, sit back, relax, take a sip of your chai, maybe some cookies as well, as we end with a beautiful musical piece entitled All Work, No Words. I hope you will sing along to the inspirational and upbeat piece that celebrates our worldwide Ismaili volunteers. Profitez de votre chai, ici, et on se donne rendez-vous pour vendredi prochain. Thank you for joining us, and see you next Friday. Ya Ali Madad.
Hundred years of the Ismaili volunteer.
خورشید درخشان
تابیده بر برگ درختان،
رقصان با باد شادمان،
شاخه هایشان دستان در دست،
میوه هایشان هر یک به یک رنگ، همراه و همدل.
Can you hear my heart beating? Can you hear it calling? Can you feel the longing? Your presence is calming. The way you share your time and your knowledge, your life, your light, your strength and your promise. Your smile is inviting. I seek and I'm finding. It's how we give, it's how we live. in action.
The kind that'll be there without even asking.
The thing that changed it all for me began when me became weak. Silently,
Your smile is inviting. I seek and I'm finding. It's how we give, it's how we live. Ayo, ayo, ay, so much to celebrate. Ayo, ayo, ay, I pray we stay this way. Ayo, ayo, ay, you put me first. There's a love that's felt and heard. All work, no word.
ليلا ونهارا نحن حاضرون لهذه خدماتي نحن ممتنون
इच्छा तारी अन्य तारी खुशी सेवा कारणे अमे छिए आही 100 वरस પહેલાને 100 વરસ પછી પ્રીતની આ રીત રહેશે જારી pamoja pamoja kila siku tuko pamoja hey 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 ayo ayo ay so much to celebrate ayo ayo ay I pray we stay this way ayo ayo ay you put me first there's a love that's felt and heard all work no words
عطر شکوفه‌های خندان
گسترده در گلستان
در گرد جمیع یاران صلح و صفای جهانیان
Parabéns pelos 100 anos, parabéns a todos os voluntários.
આપણે આ સેવાના 100 વર્ષ પૂરા કર્યા છે અને આ 100 વર્ષમાં ઘણી જ પ્રગતિ કરી છે અને ઘણું સુખ પામ્યું છે.
Это были замечательные 100 лет счастья, добра, любви, служения и единства. Поздравляю!
И нам не терпится пронести свою улыбку через следующие 100 лет.
100, 100, 100 years of these smiley volunteers.